Welcome to the Central City project. I'm Stanza and I'm going to talk you through some of the areas of this website. It's an internet-specific artwork, so all of this work is online. And the idea was to develop analogies for the organic identity of the city. The micro-city becomes an organic network of grids and diagrams, and the form and content of this work is the visual world of the city and its structure. So we've got a central city area, which is a labyrinth of hundreds of movies. We've also got Inner City, Sound Maps, BioCity, CCTV, Sound Cities, Sound Scraper, Photo City, and Sound Cities. And each of these different areas has its own separate identity, looking at the emergent flow patterns within cities. I wanted to develop analogies for the organic identity of the city as of an urban community and make links with electronic networks and virtual communities. So this organic interplay is contrasted with man-made structures as well as patterns and forms of urban design. The online spaces are for dreaming, thinking and meditating, and the form and content of this work is the visual world of the city and its structure. It's a visual labyrinth, a maze of circumstances. Within Inner City, there's a whole series of different projects, all having multi-projects underneath. The city has moved from metropolis to megapolis to ecumenopolis, and the city is everywhere with lifeless design spreading upwards and forming a conundrum of physical objects in space. So the central city moves away from these linear pieces into a more non-linear and interactive experience, giving the audience some control over the artwork. The city allows you to experience different artworks depending on how you choose to navigate, and there's also a random way to do this. So as well as this non-linearity, some of these pieces change over time, so this is what I'm referring to as generative. So this change in the relationship changes the perception between the audience and the artist. And this is a digital city experience. This playfulness is not far or disassociated from the playfulness of the situationist critique. And like the situationists, they also wanted to build cities. So the Central City project, which incorporates all those sub-projects, has become an amalgamation of ideas from art, architecture, design and urbanism, united within the spirit and ethos of the situationist movement. This area, Soft Cities, is a 3D labyrinth, pulling various images from the internet into a 3D space which is user controlled. Every 30 seconds or so a new image will update into a responsive space. So I'm interested in the sounds of specific places and how sound reflects this identity and reimposes characteristics back onto the location or environment. Cities all have specific identities, and found sound gives us some sort of clue to the people that inhabit these spaces, as well as provoking and stimulating our senses in a musical way. The sounds of the language impose a rhythm that the visual narrative can interact with. So these are the ideas that are informing my newest Sound Map series and Sound Cities project. The city codes itself up into these growing patterns. Indeed, there's a whole project within this called Sound Cities, and a whole series of interactive maps of the various cities that I've visited where you can mix and play with the sounds. This also includes a whole series of MP3 downloads. So this is about the generative sounds which are found within city spaces. Another area within the site is BioCities, looking at the emerging properties. Each city experience is based on a chemical symbol. This is the BioCity area, which includes a whole series of generative sound systems as well as a whole series of mappings based on the idea that the city itself is an emergent property. The piece itself is heavily influenced by Kevin Kelly's book Out of Control, as well as Stephen Johnson's book Emergence. So certain mouse down events trigger various random scripts that then trigger various different elements. I'll just look at another symbol. So as with all areas of this website, I'm just going to turn the sound up. All the different areas have different sound features. Each mouse down event allows a different sound feature to be triggered. This whole project is specifically made for the internet as a piece of internet art, and my design and technical restrictions therefore meant that the graphics and sound are all targeted for general internet use. My artistic intervention tries to look at fragments of our experience of cities that make up the whole city. So the central city is a place which appears out of control, but which we try to control through design. The city as grids and repetition can appear sublime, or it can confuse and appear prison-like. So these online works represent spaces. I'm not really interested in simulation, they're idealized spaces. So the final evolution of this project is an internet experience which can be viewed within the white cube, which is this box. Another area of the Central City website is called CCTV. It's a project about the subvergence of surveillance, a series of a couple of hundred webcams online collect various images from around the world, and these are collected into my database, and then the images are reappropriated into this software system. The idea is to make a continual film experience about world cities. So these have become metaphorical cities. I see them as digital paintings in this particular case. So we've got divided cities. We've also got bleeding cities, melting cities, tormented cities, and fractured cities. In one sense, it's a surveillance system because anyone from around the world might appear in this. So I'm just going to give a quick tour over all these projects with the sound up.